Alright, welcome back to my channel. Nice to see you again. Thanks for joining. Hope you're all well. Today on the bench I have a Denon DVD-3930CI. This thing's a beast. It is huge and it weighs a ton. And there's a lot going on here. This is a really special machine. But it came to me from a client. He's got some minor servicing he wants done. General service. He says it's got inconsistent tray loading and a ticking sound during loading and unloading. So probably something simple like a belt, I'm hoping. So let's get after this. Yeah, I was looking at this thing. This is impressive, this machine. Got a lot going on here. It's quite a versatile thing. It's a DVD, super audio CD player. And it obviously comes with a remote, I'm assuming. I don't have it here, but let's try this out. I got it plugged in. And it's got two power buttons. I like that too. It's a kerchunk on off. You can kill the power to the entire thing. And which puts it, when you turn it on, it puts it in standby mode, and then you can use your remote. When you go on vacation, you shut it off and it consumes zero power. So turn it on. It's going to use standby power 1/2 watt, which isn't too bad. It's pretty good. Turn it on. And then the power jumps up to 40 watts. 45, holy 50. That's quite a bit for a CD player. Let's try the tray. Oh, yeah, it was jumping. Did you see that? Going in works fine. Coming out, it's really choppy. Really choppy when it comes out, but it goes in fine. So maybe something simple like a belt. He also said it made a ticking noise, ticking sound during loading and unloading. Now I was kind of doing a little bit of reading about these online, and I guess the weak point of these is the laser pickup, and quite a few people have experienced failures in that point. Let's get a CD in here. I don't have any amplifier hooked up. I'm just going to try and see how it loads a disc. Let's see if it makes any weird noises when we close this. Took a little bit of time, but it's loaded. 11 tracks, 60 minutes, it's all good. Yeah, it's just when it comes out it does that choppy movement there. So let's see what we can do. Let's open it up, have a look. Come on. Alright, just want to give you a show of the back here. This is a full feature DVD CD player for sure. Digital out, coaxial, and optical. It's got your right and left analog outputs. It's got 5.1 channel audio out here. HDMI out. S-video component with BNC connectors. That's really unusual. And then you have tandem up with the RCA connectors. A video out. A basic video composite out. So on this side we have a RS-232C serial port for remote control. Then you have a pass-through remote thing here with 3.5mm jacks. Yeah, it's quite a capable machine. It'd be nice. What is this Denon link? Not sure what that is. Looks like a network connection. Very nice. Let's take the top off. Okay, removed 11 screws to get the cover off. Let's see if this stuck down. Let's put it back. Very big cover. Oh, and there's another cover. Okay. Cover within a cover. There's 2 more screws I need to remove. 4 more screws actually, 1 in each corner. Let's get this out. This thing's really built. I don't know why it has two covers. They keep the radiation in or out. But you're also restricting airflow, especially on a DVD player that consumes 50 watts or something. So let's take this one off. And looks good. And here it is, the beast. So it looks like we have a switch mode power supply. There's a transformer and a switch mode power supply. I don't know what this is. This is filter and power regulation. This looks like our audio board here, I'm just guessing. Our Denon drive in the center. And something here that needs a lot of heat sinking. This is something to do with the video outputs. HDMI is here, the BNC composite. So it's got a heat sink and a fan. Voltage regulator tacked up here. So he just wants a general service. So I'm going to go through and check a few caps. I think in the power supply, in the heat zones, we'll probably find maybe one or two that needs attention. But if not, I'm just going to leave them alone. Look at the heat sinking on this thing. They got big aluminum plates screwed to this side of the cabinet here. Yeah, it's quite the thing. So I got to remove this assembly and check the belt on that tray. But first let's go through and let's verify that everything else is okay. So let me go through and check some of these. Got a high voltage cap here, going to make sure that's discharged. And the rest of it should be all low voltage. Okay. I gotta say, this thing is insane the way they built this. Right now I'm taking off the bottom cover, but it's not what you would think it is. It's actually 3 different plates, and they total 3 millimeters in thickness. So let's have a look at this. This plate here is a 1.5 millimeters. It's pretty heavy on its own. And then there's 2 more plates that are probably 0.75 millimeters. Look at that. It weighs about 10 pounds. Wow, it's just incredible the build on this thing. And there's other things too I'm looking at. Look, they put a plate for heat dissipation. On the other side there's more plates. And this is like a 4 millimeter thick aluminum plate. And then they have aluminum plates on the transformer. There's an aluminum plate here on this transformer. It has 2 separate power supplies. An analog, traditional analog bridge rectifier filter cap, and then they have the switch mode power supply. So yeah, this is really built up to a specification, not to a price, that's for sure. Alright, so I had removed the switch mode power supply. This one is the digital power unit. Yeah, and I found 4 capacitors that failed, and I replaced them. The rest of them, I pulled a lot of other ones out and tested them, they were fine, so I put them back in. This thing is 2006 vintage, so what does that make it? 17 years old now? Getting up there, but yeah, for the most part, the caps are good, and like I said, 4 caps, not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, and everything else is fine. Look at this thing. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these capacitors, 6.3 volts, 5600 microfarad, and these are all in parallel. So that's over 25,000 microfarad filtering for this 5 volt rail. You can see it's all here. It's all bussed together. So they really put a lot of engineering into this, a lot of cost. This thing must have cost a few pennies when it was new. You can just imagine the sticker price on this would be shocking. But anyways, I'm done with this power supply unit. I'm just going to clean the board with some alcohol, clean it off, and give it a good inspection. I didn't find any cracked solders. I didn't expect to find any, but I'll give it a good look anyway, and we'll clean this up, put it back in. So here's another example of this craziness. They have these two thick aluminum plates. They're about 5mm thick, I think, 4 or 5mm. Pretty hefty, big chunk of aluminum. They have 3 devices screwed to it. So they got the dual rectifier for the switch mode. Okay. Then they got a 3-terminal regulator, voltage regulator. Then they have a NPN transistor. Now, I don't know, but I don't think there's that much heat coming off them 3 devices to have these crazy large plates. But that wasn't enough. So what they did is they cut a hole in the side of the chassis here, and they added another aluminum plate with a copper washer to transfer that heat to the outside plate. And they gooped it up with heatsink grease and bolted it all together. So they're transferring the heat from the inside of this to the outside plate. But they have, it's a steel chassis, and it's all bolted here, 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 here. So the thermal resistance of this sandwich is going to be very low. And but they have to go through the effort of getting a copper plate to transfer that little extra heat. Isn't that something, eh? Alright, so from what I can tell here, the way we remove the drive mechanism is there's 4 screws from the top. One here, 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 and here, here and here, I think. And then there's 2 on the sides. One here and one this. So you need a long screwdriver to reach in from the side. I'm going to try this and take this out here. There's 4 screws. And it's still okay. I'll take these 2 out. Need a long screwdriver. I don't know if you noticed that all of the chassis screws and everything is machine thread, and anything that goes into plastic is going to be a self-tapper, so that's the difference. Pull these out. Okay, now we should be free. Connect at the back here. Okay. This connector needs to be disconnected, and it's pretty much just lift up this one side like that, and then it disconnects, and then you can separate the 2. Let's remove this cover first. Probably should have done this before I removed the assembly. Maybe it was access for belts or whatnot. Let's have a look. Okay. That does us nothing. Okay, so looks like we have to remove this plate here, which is held on by these 4 screws, and maybe these 2 as well. If I remove those 4, these side plates should come off. Let's try that. Okay. Alright, take these 2 out. And that should give us full access to the mechanism. There we are. Now we can see the What I'm going to do is remove the tray, these two screws. It looks like it might be just gummed up with dust. Who knows? We'll see what's going on inside. Okay, this should come out. There we go. Hitting a stop of some kind. Yeah, one more screw. Okay, and this should... Oh, two more screws. Look at that. And that releases the slide here. Alrighty. The belt's okay. I think it's just dirty, it's just crap that's caught in these gears. Oh, here's some trash that's in here. Paper. Or plastic. That might have been causing a problem. Yeah, I think I'm just going to remove these gears and we're just going to clean them because they do have stuff stuck to them like dust and lint in the grease. Seems the belt's fine, the motor's fine. It's loading, unloading. Here's the motor. Motor plugs in there. Okay, if I take out 3 more screws, this whole assembly will drop out. So let's do that. Okay. Come on. Does this need to come out? There we go. Now we're restricted by wires, and I thought I had enough wires here. Oh no, we're hooked. Okay. So instead of desoldering, I'm just going to take this board out here. There's one screw. Let's take this one screw out and let's take this board out. Let's unplug it here. Do these 2 catches. This would be our mode switch. We can do a clean on that as well. Let's just take this right out. It's not going to fit through there, is it? Thought I had a plan, but I guess it didn't work. Okay. Let's disconnect this. All right, I think this is just a matter of cleaning it's grease that has lint and garbage stuck into it. It looks quite dirty. So let's just remove this belt. Get it out of the way. And these are split washers, so I think they can come out. Let's remove this one. Oops. That gear comes out. I need a screwdriver for the other two. Not good enough. Okay. Alright, and these two gears, they look identical. Let's take this split washer out, get rid of this pulley. And lastly that one. So clean this all up. Clean off the old grease. We'll re-grease everything. Okay, I think that's not bad. Yeah, it's just a matter of the grease has all this lint and stuff stuck in it. All these teeth have dirt embedded in the cogs. So I'll go through and clean this all up, and then we'll reassemble with some new lubricants. I don't know if I can use anything on here. Okay. Okay, I did find a damaged tooth on one of these gears. I probably can't see it. Let's see if I can get this. This one right here. It looks like it got stripped and it went kind of mushroom shaped. So I took a knife and trimmed off all this plastic that flowed over and made the mushroom, and just trimmed it off. It's a very slight amount, just to take away that bump, and it should work again. Let's try putting it all together now. If I can remember how this went. I think this was the first one, second. This is the last one. There's one here, and like that. Has to be like that because it won't go like that. Okay, let's grease this up. A small amount of grease on each shaft. Okay. All right. Oh, you can't see. Sorry. Can feel a little lump in the... I wonder if I put the damaged one here instead of there. If that makes any difference. Yeah. It does actually. Okay. Let's reassemble this. Okay, we need the large split ring. Okay, and the small split ring here. Okay. We still have lint on these. I guess it just collects, the grease collects the lint and then it sticks and then it jams in the mechanism. Okay, let's add some grease to some of the gears. So let's add some here for those two. Add some here for these two. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't think we need to do anything with the motor. I'll add a drop of oil. The belt's fine. I'm not going to change it. It's a lot smoother. Okay. Okay, and the tray itself has teeth. This is a rack here. And this looks fine. It doesn't look dirty. And I'm just going to redistribute some of this grease around, just so that it, when the tray starts going in and out, it's going to get re-greased. Just distribute some of this stuff around better. I'm not adding grease, I'm just using the existing. Okay, teeth on this rack coincides with this top gear here, and it rides like this, right? Okay, so we can put this all back together. This slide seems fine. I think it's dry, but I think it's supposed to be dry. This here is fine. Okay, let's just put it all back together. This slide's working fine. A lot of grease here. That's contaminated with dust and lint. And hair and dust. Let's get rid of some of this trash that's in here. Let's give it some new stuff. Okay, this rides, where is this ride? That's the back. So it goes like this. Okay. Put some fresh grease down. Not very much, just enough to... Okay. Before I do anything there, I have to redo this. So let's reattach the motor. Okay. And this can get positioned. Oh boy. There we go. 3 screws for that. One, two, three. Okay. This is the front. So I think this goes here. This goes here. There we go. Put these 2 screws in. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot the, yeah, I forgot something. Take this out. I forgot the rack mechanism here. Okay. These 2 posts have to fit into these 2 channels. Let's see here. How can I do this? I think I need to do... That's the closed position. So if I do it this way, if I can see if I can get those in. That's better. Okay. Put these 2 screws in, and then I think we're done. I do believe I'm engaged. There we go. Yep. Okay. So we can put these screws in. And I need one other screw. Oh, this here. This little ball bearing roller goes on this side. Okay, I need one more screw here. And I need one screw here. Alright, so I believe we're good. You know, I think this screw is a long one, that's what I think. Okay, perfect. Let's treat this switch, this mode switch, with a little bit of deoxit, just so it doesn't give us any problems. It's not giving us problems now, but it might in the future. So let's give it a shot of, let's give it a shot of deoxit D5. Where do I want to go here? I want to go in the top, I think. Just flood the switch. And that should be good. Now we can put this back together. So I don't know if you can see this, but the switch, the toggle on this switch goes in this hole here, and that's what's acted upon from the mechanism. So we got to get that in there. Should be fairly simple, straight down snap in. All right. There we go. Okay, we got one screw for this. There. All right. Everything's done there. Just Let's clean the laser. So let's have a look at it first. So it's got dust and lint all around it. So I'm just going to give it a blast of compressed air in a can. Just going to use this stuff. This is just air in a can. Actually, it's not air. It's actually it's a refrigerant. It's under pressure. What was difluoroethylene? And let's try this. Probably like 134 or something. I don't know. Safe for the environment, I guess. Where does it say safe for the environment? It's got to say that somewhere. It doesn't. Maybe it's illegal. Just going to give this a little blast. That's all it needs. Just going to inspect it one more time. A little bit of dust on the lens. I'm just going to give it a wipe with a clean cotton swab. Just to take off any layer of dust or grime. I think that's good. Okay, I think we're ready to put this back together. It's a lot smoother. It doesn't have that chunky feel anymore. Okay, let's get this. A little bit overspray. Now this goes like that. Okay, I'll reassemble all this. I don't need to watch, and then we'll get it back in the machine. Try it out. All right, before we button this up, let's test this one more time. Put in the AC, and we have our standby power. Okay, closed, open. Tray's nice and smooth. You should have no problems reading a disc. There she goes. Wow, that's unbelievable. 60 watts. 60 watts of power to play a CD. Unbelievable. Okay, let's put this back on. Look how this slides on like this. Slides down from the top. Clicks on. There we go. This away. And I'll button this up. I'll have to put all the covers on, all the bottoms, and I'll finish this one up. Alright, we got it back together. Let's give it a test. I want to test out the DVD function of this. So I got my monitor. This is just an analog monitor. Okay. And let's turn the machine on. Hit play and see what happens here. This is copyrighted, so I can't do much with it. Okay, so it recognizes DVD. To play, let's just hit play here. Yeah, seems to be working fine. Working fine. Let's try the audio out. Alright, so it's back together, working fine. Pretty much covered everything on his list. The tray's moving in and out great now. It's not doing that jagged, choppy thing. I had a bad, one of the teeth on the gear had a bad, looks like somebody hit it or something, and it got mushroomed on the end, and it was causing a little trip up every time it spun around. I fixed that up. CD working pretty good. I changed a few caps. Wasn't necessary for it to be repaired, but these caps were failing, so I put new ones in. Probably could use the whole thing recapped, but it's only, well, it's 2006 vintage, so what is it, 17 years old now, and it's got a lot of years left. I wouldn't go crazy on restoring one of these until it's maybe 30 years old. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.